My name is Mangeon. I came from France in 1980. I am the owner of the Berryman. It's a produce company that is very well known in town, in Santa Barbara. I had 2 kids, and at that point I'm divorced. So my kids are now in their 25, so I've been here for almost 35 years. And I really like Santa Barbara. So when I came in 1980, I only had $1,000 on me, and I ended up staying about a month and a half in New York with a girlfriend and I know. And I decided that, well, actually, I really came from, when I came from Europe, I was supposed to go and work for a group called Starfighters. And they were playing in Texas at that time, but because I spent a month in New York, I could not really catch them doing a concert in Texas. So I ended up going on the street one day, and I just realized that I just wanted to stay in the United States a little longer. And so I was going to go to see them, but I was out of money. So I went to... one morning, actually, I walked down the street, and some guy told me, I was talking to someone, and told me that I could get a car. It was called a Global Ride or something like this. And so I went to an agency, and they gave me a car to go to Florida, which was not my destination that I wanted to go. But I ended up taking the car, and I asked the agency if I could take 2 weeks to get to destination, and they called the owner and they authorized me to do that. So I didn't need any money because the gas was paid by the owner of the car. All I was doing is to deliver the car to the owner and get a free ride. When I got to Florida, I was very well received by the owner. I spent a couple of nights at his house. And then I ended up having to hitchhike to Arizona now. At that time, that's where the music band was playing, and I really wanted to go to work for them, or at least see them. And it takes me about 4 days to hitchhike to Arizona. When I get to Arizona, I spend about 20 days with them doing a concert, and they hired me right away. I was really... And even though I didn't speak one word of English, it was fine because they hired me to do stage lighting. And I had no knowledge about stage lighting, but everything went fine. And after 20 days, they asked me if I wanted to go back, if I was going back, and I just decided, even though I was illegal at that time already, because I only had, this was already 3 months. And my visa was only 3 months. And I just decided I didn't want to go back because I have not seen the United States yet. It was really only saw maybe 6 states, 7 states. It's not good enough for me. So that's when I started to travel and hitchhike.
For how long did you hitchhiking in the country? And how many states do you?
Well, I hitchhiked altogether for a year and a half. So I hitchhiked 32 states in the United States, plus I don't know how many states in Mexico, because I spent 3 months in Mexico. And after about 12 months hitchhiking, I got very depressed, and I was completely broke, evidently. No money, nobody to talk to, actually, except the people that give me a ride. But someday I spent up to 3 or 4 days in an intersection, and nobody picked me up. So no food. It was really a tough situation, and it got me depressed. And after 12 months, I just decided that I wanted to go back home. It was time for me to go back home. So I was at that time in Los Angeles, but I just realized that Mexico was pretty close. And I just wanted to go in Mexico to just maybe have my passport stamp. And so I passed the border in Mexico, and I realized that Mexican people had a complete different attitude with French people, actually, or hitchhiker. I got really invited to everybody's house, and I got a job the second day I was there. It was not a well-paid job, but it didn't matter really. It was just my first job in the United States, matter of fact. And then in Mexico, sorry. And then after that, I worked for 2-3 weeks, and then I just decided, no, this is not what I want to do. So I started to hitchhike all over Mexico. I went to Mexico City and all over. And then I came back about 2.5 months later to take my plane in Los Angeles. But when I came back to San Diego, I had the feeling that I was coming back home. When I passed the border back, my English was really better than when I left for some reason. And even though I didn't practice much in Mexico, it's just like a very strange click that happened when I came back to the United States, because after traveling and living 1 year in the United States, my English certainly in the background was improving, but I was not feeling comfortable to speak it, and I understand it a little better. But when I passed the border, it was like, wow, I understand English and I could speak it. So that's when I decided, hey, maybe I should just stay here a little longer. So that's when I looked for a job. The same day I passed the border, I went to La Jolla and hide my clothes and backpack in a bush by the beach, take a shower, and a public shower, and look for a job. That's where I found a job as a pizza man in a pizzeria, and that's when everything really started. You know, evidently I only stayed there 3 months because I had an offer to. I only stayed there 3 months. I decided to just go back and travel, and that's when I landed in Santa Barbara, when I was hitchhiking through going to San Francisco. Somebody dropped me on the freeway here, and that's where I landed in Santa Barbara. And I know the first place I went to was a church that was on Chapala Street, because I needed food, and that was the only place I know where you can get food. And after that, the first certainly week and a half, I slept in the courthouse behind a little a tree around the courthouse. It was a very hidden spot and very comfortable, matter of fact. And then it was a little hot, so I decided one day that I was going to sleep on Shoreline Park on the bench. It was perfectly fine there. And that's when Pierrot, one of our friends, Pierrot, was walking this dog, just asked me, the dog licked me and when I was sleeping, and I just pet the dog and talked to him in French. That's when I realized the guy was French, so we got little friend, and they invite me at their house, which was across the street. And I ended up getting a job almost 3 days after I got to this town, and then everything started right there. 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years maximum after I came to Santa Barbara, then I realized that I didn't come here to just hang out. I came here to realize a dream, which was I wanted to get better, my life better, and I wanted to succeed somewhere. So that's where I just realized that going to party with friends was not an option anymore. I made the decision. I started to run every day, and as a matter of fact, on Saturday I used to run up to 15 miles on Saturday, and quit smoking, quit drinking, and just work. I had 3 jobs at that time, and that's how I could started to save really money and reinvest it. I'm not going to say correctly, because my first big investment was really big investment. I'm saying it was 2 years later when I decided to invest $50,000 in a French restaurant with some partner. The restaurant was really fabulous. It was called C'est la Vie at that time in Ventura. And it was a very high class My job was, as the owner, was to receive my client because it was a French restaurant. I was the only French, so I was dressed in tuxedo and bow tie every day. But after a year, that restaurant, I realized was not going to make it because we were 3 partners and we were not getting that along business-wise. We were good friends, but business was not possible together. So I just quit and I lost my $50,000 and I said before. After that, I came back to Santa Barbara. And that's when I had no job. I had a new wife because when I had the restaurant, I met my ex-wife. And we had 2 kids, and it all happened very quickly where I was struggling for money because I lost everything I had, one day I just met this lady behind the supermarket that just told me asked me if I wanted to buy some strawberry from her, and she had 5 flat in her car, and I just decided like, no, what would I do with a 5 flat of strawberry? Even if she wanted to sell it to me for $5, it didn't make much sense to buy 5 flat. But for some reason, 10 minutes later, I made a decision. I only had $25 in my pocket. I just made the decision to buy those 5 flat and go and try to sell them somewhere. So I took the 5 flat and I sold them. Well, the first flat, I paid $5. I sold it for $8 next door almost. It was a little daily. And then just after that, I went to another restaurant. They bought 2 flats for $10 each. I already made almost double my money right there. So I just realized, wow. And then those people asked me if I was coming back the following day with more strawberry. And I didn't, yeah, sure, I come back. And I sold the 5 flat and I paid $25 for the 5 flat and I made $35 profit. And at that time, the minimum wage was $3.25. So I realized that, there is certainly a good opportunity there. And so I went back and called the lady that sold me the flat of strawberry, and the day after she brought me 10, and the following day 20, and about 2-3 weeks later I was selling 100 flat a day. The Berryman really, first the name of the Berryman, because when I was selling strawberry I was going from restaurant to daily, even supermarket, small supermarket. And my English was really bad. People had a hard time to understand what I say. So instead of pronouncing my name, because Guy, it's not always easy to pronounce for American people. They call me Guy, they call me some other. So they realized that the best way was to call me the Berryman, because that's what I was doing, selling berries. And when the business got big, I just realized that I could not keep on doing business cash on the daily basis like I was doing. Not only that it was illegal, but just realized that I needed to start a real business. So I got a license, and they asked me what name, and I thought about it, and I said, well, maybe the Berryman will be the best, and that's how we end up being the Berryman. At that point, the Berryman has 240 employees, certainly, somewhere like this. It changed every month, actually, because business has been growing lately. In 1991, I take over a very, very small business of produce in San Luis Obispo because I was supplying the company and they didn't pay me, so I take over the company. But it was only like 4 employees, and now we have about 110 employees there working in San Luis Obispo. It's called the Berryman. It used to be called All About Produce, but we changed the name back to the Berryman because we're doing an advertising all together. The 2 companies, it works out much better for a reputation of the company. So we have altogether between San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara, I would say 240 employees, and somewhere around 50 trucks, so 50 trucks and another 25 vehicles for the whole sales team, doing about $47 million last year, so shooting for $50 million this year. Talking about Mexico, 8 years ago, about 8 years ago, my fiance and I, my fiance is Colombian, I've been with her for 10 years now, and we decided to buy a house in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, because I really like it there, and I was going on vacation too often to keep on doing this, so I just bought a house. And after that, I got involved with the sister city. Santa Barbara, Puerto Vallarta are our sister city, and I'm a very active member on that club. And then also, I became a member of the Rotary Club in Puerto Vallarta, which is called Rotary Club Puerto Vallarta Sur. And that's where I realized that that's what I wanted to do, to spend more time giving back, actually, what I've been given by United States. If you look at it, when I came, I was broke, and now I'm doing well, but I have to give back because... and so giving back to the Mexican people, I think personally, I feel like this is very important for many reasons, because they need it, evidently, but also the fact of they have to come here to try to make a living when really their country is very attractive. They would be very happy to stay there if they had a job. So the best way to keep them in Mexico and happy with their family is to help them to stay there by helping them there. And so this is a matter of fact. Last week, as an example, 2 months ago, we met this lady, 23 years old, 3 kids, 4, 6, and 8, and she's been blind from birth. So she's blind. She never saw her own kids, and the only way she can recognize her kids when she's walking on the street. They can't go to school. They're not going to school, the kids. And she has a string for each kid attached to her belt, and each string has different knots. Like this, she can tell which kids it's attached to which to which string. It's just, and then I realized that this woman doesn't even have anything to eat. I mean, very, 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 very poor. 3 kids, blind. What kind of life is that? So I just talked to her and asked her a few questions. How was she eating? And she told me right away, the lady that sells taco across the street let my family eat once a day at 3 o'clock afternoon. We have to be here to have a full meal. She's giving us that. And so that day I realized I need to help that lady. And I knew from a Rotary Club, a member of the Rotary Club of my club, he's a eye surgeon, one of the top eye surgeons in Mexico, in the whole country. So I give him a call, and he told me, I want to see that lady tomorrow. So I take that girl, and when he look at her, he say, wow, I can do something. It's going to be a very, very hard surgery, but I want to operate it on the next Friday. And so the cost was $3,000, which was not a killer for me. I mean, this is like, it's not even a cost, it's an investment, because I really feel like it could be incredible if this woman recover, or no, actually not recover, because she never had it. She can see one day. She can see herself for the first time, or see her own kids after raising them. It's just unbelievable if there is a result. So we operate on her last Friday, and the surgery went very well. She cannot see yet. It's going to take between 15 days to 2 months to to see if she can see. She never will recover her full sight, but 50% there is plenty of chance, so we're just waiting to see. I called her yesterday to see how she says she's starting to see color, which is something that she never see before. She see color passing by. It's like, ooh, there is good chance that in a couple of months we have a good news that she say, yes, I see myself. It's very, one little experience like this is good enough to make you go all your life. You can just keep on doing stuff like this, because when she is done, then she has one of the daughter that will become blind very quickly, because this is a genetic thing. Her mom was blind, she's blind, and they don't have the possibility of having surgery because they can't afford it. Those surgery labor must be very expensive. It costs $3,000 just to implant the valvula, which is a microscopic equipment that is implanted in the eyes, and they can never have this kind of surgery if nobody helps them. Some other project that we do with the Rotary Club, I do, because I like to do my own project. Yes, I participate in a project that the Rotary Club does, but my club was cited as the most active club of the whole Mexico last year, the whole country. We have 23 projects going on right now. Some are big, some are small, but I have my own that are separate from the list. One of them is called a BECA program, which is a scholarship program that I provide to, this year, 48 kids. I was just actually there last week to deliver this money. It's $250 that I give to each kids, 48 kids, that go from not kindergarten, but from, I'm not so sure exactly, from about 8 years old to 16, to university. After that, it's a little bit more money if they go to university. But those kids that I choose live in about 2 hours away from Puerto Vallarta in a mountain, and they are living in a village. I sponsor all the kids in that village, 48 kids in the village. I sponsor all of them from 8 to 16. Plus 3 more that are actually in the university now, so they have to move out of the village to go to university. So last week we had a big celebration with the kids are doing actually a very serious, they take it very seriously. They did a march Mexican with the flag before the distribution, and they spent an hour writing about themselves. I asked them an essay. Each sponsor that I get are usually from Santa Barbara. Most of them are from Santa Barbara, and I would say some of restaurant owners here in town have given me $250 to sponsor one kid. And some friend of mine, it's all tax deductible because it goes through the Rotary Club. And the beauty of it is that the sponsor get a copy, a photo of the kids with the whole family history and also all the dream of the kids. And this is the most interesting thing because it's 3-page. We asked them to do 3-page, and each kid has to write what he's done, what he wants to do in life, and all this feeling. And it's really, really interesting to read every comment that the kids makes about the future. They all dream actually to be teacher. You would think not too many want to be doctor, but I know personally that maybe 10% of them will become doctor. It's a fact. If you help them, they go to the university and they have to make a choice there, and usually that's what they choose, doctor, teacher, and this is an incredible program anyway. The clinic is a project from the Rotary Club, but more than that, it's a sister city, Puerto Vallarta, Santa Barbara project. There is a little fishing village about 25 minutes south of Puerto Vallarta that's really on the edge of the Puerto Vallarta community, and it's been really left over, this little village, a very, very poor village. And they do not have a clinic or any kind of resource for medicine. There is a retired nurse that lives there, is willing to help, but it's been overwhelming for her because it's a fishing village, there is a lot of accidents, and many accidents are pretty basic. I mean, a stingray is one of the most common things there that tourists go in the ocean snorkeling and they get bit by a stingray, but there is no way anybody knows about how to fix the problem because there is no clinic, there is no place to go. And so we just decide, I'm kind of part of the decision 3 years ago that Boca de Tomatlan, it's called, needed a clinic. So we built a clinic, and the last step, just after we built the 2-story, we just decided that it was a necessity to do a dental clinic also, so we put a 3rd floor. So that's why the clinic is barely finished now. It should have been done 6 months ago. It's barely finished because we put a 3rd floor for dental. Now, all the money for the clinic came mostly from Santa Barbara, fundraising that we have done in Puerto Vallarta, sister city, and the Rotary Club North, and also Sunrise Club and another club from Goleta. I mean, many clubs are participating on the construction, and the clinic is done at that point. We just need to equip. All the equipment is actually been sent from Santa Barbara. The direct relief is helping us a lot. It's going to give us many things that we need, but and apparently I've consulted with a group of dentists in town called Aeromedico, and they are willing to go once every 2 months, fly to Puerto Vallarta on their own money to go and do a whole weekend of free work in the clinic to just check out everybody in the whole village. So this is what the future is going to be. Many doctors or dentists will go there for free labor and maybe on their own cost to just work for 2-3 days or a week, whatever they want, and use the clinic. 5 years, ooh, I have no idea yet. I know the company is keep on growing, the Berryman, and I do not have to take care of it because I have named a president a couple months ago. He's the president now, and this job is to run the company for me, so I will have much more free time. And you know, I don't want to make any projection for the future, but this is what I'm going to do, just help more and find some other project now that most of the projects are, when they are finished, you start a new one, so there is no end to it. There's always somebody or something to do, to help. Definitely, I was, when I was born in a countryside, okay, I was a loner. When I was 8 years old, I spent most of my days when I was not in school in the forest looking for mushroom and berries and with my dog. As a matter of fact, I used to raise hedgehog. Hedgehog is in French it's hérisson. It's a very weird animal, but you can raise them and make pet out of them. I used to do that when I was a kid. Until 12 years old only. At 12, I moved to a big city, Marseille, which was really cosmopolitan, a lot of different ethnicity. And I learned that I had to get tough because a country boy coming to the big city, there is a lot of bullying. and I became tough very quick, and I learned how to, and I'm still tough. I stay tougher. That's certainly one of my training. That's how I really got to where I am. Certainly part of it. I've been poor, right? When I was hitchhiking for a year and a half, this was really an experience that helped me to know now what does it feel like. Many people have never been to that level of in life, and they cannot realize how much suffering there is. So, no, I was homeless, sleeping on the street for a year and a half. And when I hitchhike, that's what you do. Homeless. A real homeless, actually. Not alcoholic, but very close. The only reason why I was not alcoholic is because I didn't have the money to buy alcohol. So now I do understand the homeless alcoholic once in a while, because when they get that low, that's all they have to do, just party if they can on a bench in a city bench, city park. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they are there. Hard work is the most important thing, evidently, but that's not good enough. Hard work, perseverance, and the basic is certainly to have a goal. You have to set a goal. If you came here to just hang out in the United States, or like many people here usually do not set a goal, they just live day by day, and that's not. I have a dream. I know what I want to do. You just asked me a few minutes ago. I want to give more. I give back more, and more I make, and more I'm going to give back. And so that is part of my dream. And when I reach that dream, I set another one higher. I set another goal higher than the one I already set. And you keep on working to try to reach a goal that you keep raising. So yeah, luck is a factor. You gotta be lucky. There is many opportunity in life that passing by, and you need to recognize them. When you see an opportunity, it shouldn't take too long to just decide if you want to take it or not. And if you take it, you need to know what's the consequence. The consequence is going to be hard work, perseverance, and dedication. You need to be dedicated to that goal and to reach a success. If your priority are party and having vacation, then you're never gonna reach that goal. And so you can only if you set your priority as vacation, you can. This is the end result. When you have succeeded, if you want to go on vacation, you go on vacation, but you cannot go on vacation when you are working toward your goal, because this is conflicting. I did this, I really started to do all this. I was 26 years old, and I started the Berryman. I was 36, Berryman and my family. So I mostly did I created Berryman in 10 years. Evidently, I had so many other experience before that helped me to build. But we don't want to forget that I was completely broke when at 36 with 2 kids and a wife. So all this was done in about 10 years. Why? Because I certainly my focus was to succeed, and I keep my perseverance and my focus on my business and my family, and that's where we are now.
No, this is the last one. What made you a successful person?
Who say I'm successful? Well, the best of success is to not have to work. This is very important, because I do know some people that are successful, and they have, but they do have to work 12 or 15 hours a day, and that is not a life forever. You have to at one point to be able to just enjoy life, whatever you want to do. If you like to go snorkeling or scuba diving every day, then there is a cost to it, and you have to be able to just do this in a 10 or 20 years of your life. You work very hard, and you get to that point, and after that you do whatever you feel like doing. Not having to work, yeah, that's important. Yeah. Because if I had to work now, then like, who cares about how much money I make if I have to work every day? Right? I cannot even spend it because you have to work.